Today, we're talking about Viktor Frankl, one of the most influential figures in psychology and counseling. Frankl was a psychiatrist, Holocaust survivor, author, and founder of Logotherapy. While names like Freud and Jung often get most of the attention in psychology, Frankl developed a perspective that I think remains incredibly relevant today. His work focused on a simple but profound question. What helps people keep going when life becomes incredibly difficult? That question would eventually become the foundation of his life's work. There are a lot of influential thinkers in psychology, but Frankl stands out to me for a very personal reason. As a counselor, I spend lots of time helping people navigate pain, trauma, grief, disappointment, and adversity. Most of us naturally want suffering to end as quickly as possible. That's understandable. But Frankl challenged me to think differently. He argued that suffering itself isn't always meaningless. Sometimes the most difficult experiences in our lives become the experiences that shape us, teach us, and ultimately give our lives deeper meaning. That doesn't mean suffering's always good, and it doesn't mean we should seek it out. But it does mean that even when we cannot avoid suffering, we may still be able to find purpose within it. To understand Frankl's ideas, you have to understand where they came from. In 1942, Frankl and his family were deported by the Nazis. Over the next several years, he was imprisoned in multiple concentration camps, including Auschwitz. He lost his parents, his brother, and his pregnant wife. He witnessed suffering on a scale that most of us can barely imagine. People were stripped of their possessions, their identities, their freedoms, and lost their hope. Yet Frankl noticed something remarkable. Some people seemed to maintain a sense of purpose, even under horrific conditions. Others gave up entirely. He began observing what separated those who survived psychologically from those who lost hope. These observations would become the foundation of the philosophy he later shared with the world. After the war, Frankl wrote what would become his most famous book, Man's Search for Meaning. The book has sold millions of copies and continues to be recommended by therapists, educators, philosophers, and leaders around the world. Part of the book describes his experiences in the concentration camps. The second part explains logotherapy, his approach to psychology. The central message is simple. People can endure extraordinary suffering when they have a reason to keep going. Frankl believed that human beings are not motivated only by pleasure, as Freud suggested, or power, as Adler emphasized. Instead, he argued our deepest motivation is the search for meaning. When people lose meaning, they often lose hope. When they discover meaning, they often discover strength they didn't know they had. One of Frankl's most quoted ideas is this: between stimulants and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Whether or not Frankl wrote those exact words has been debated, but the idea absolutely reflects his philosophy. Think about it for a moment. Something happens. Someone criticizes us, we experience a loss, we feel rejected, we encounter a setback. Our first reaction may be emotional and automatic, but Frankl believed there is a space between what happens and what we choose to do next. That space may be small, sometimes it may feel almost impossible to access, but it exists, and within that space lies personal responsibility. Not responsibility for everything that happened to us, but responsibility for how we respond. This idea has influenced many modern therapies, including approaches that emphasize mindfulness, acceptance, emotion regulation, and intentional action. Perhaps Frankl's most famous concept is what he called the last human freedom. He wrote that everything can be taken from a person except for one thing: the freedom to choose one's attitude. Now, it's important to understand what he was not saying. Frankl was not suggesting that attitude magically fixes suffering. He was not blaming people for their hardships. He wasn't saying that positive thinking cures trauma. Instead, he was making a deeper observation. Even when circumstances are beyond our control, we still retain some ability to decide how we relate to those circumstances. That ability may be limited, may be difficult, but it remains. And according to Frankl, the final freedom is what preserves human dignity. It's a powerful idea because it shifts our focus away from what we cannot control and towards what we can. So why are counselors still talking about Viktor Frankl decades after his death? Because the problem he addressed haven't gone away. People struggle with grief. People struggle with trauma. People struggle with anxiety, depression, loss, and existential questions. Frankl's work continues to influence meaning-centered therapy, trauma recovery, resilience research, and existential therapy. His ideas remind us that healing isn't always about eliminating pain. Sometimes healing involves helping people discover purpose, values, connection, and meaning despite the pain. In many ways, Frankl's work complements modern approaches like acceptance and commitment therapy, mindfulness-based interventions, and other therapies that help people build lives worth living, even when circumstances are difficult. Frankl survived one of the darkest chapters in human history and emerged with a message that continues to inspire millions of people today. His central idea was not that life is easy. It wasn't that suffering is desirable. It was that meaning is what really matters. And even in the most difficult moments, human beings have the capacity to choose how they respond and what they live for. That's a lesson that remains just as relevant today as it was when Frankl first wrote about it. If you enjoyed this video, follow The Quiet Mind for more psychology, counseling, philosophy, DBT skills, mindfulness, and personal growth content. Let me know in the comments which historical figure in counseling you'd like me to cover next, and I'll catch you in the next one.